The Jhin feels a lot better when you've got things like the Zyra, things like the Rumble on your team.
That's fine. You have the Nasus.
Yeah, the Nasus E doesn't slow though, so it's still going to be difficult for Wako to see how accurate.
The W is borderline a stun.
Yeah, true.
Jung, he's going to see everyone there, and he's going to be safe.
Yeah.
Puts up that barred trumpet, and whoa, it's going to be a mana flow band.
Yeah.
Procced up.
Feels good. It's going to be airy for FAK. So Arya finds Jimmy in here, starts his W to avoid any damage coming his way.
Gemini just watching as his raptors get warded.
Kaiwing does have exhaust against the cannon.
What?
So that is the first quick time event passed.
Exhaust against cannon? It's honestly, though, obviously we always talk about why are we not taking exhaust against cannon. No one seems to have realized that that summoner spell exists. But this game, it kind of gets double value, because if you can't find the cannon, it's also good against the Yone, right?
Yep.
So
Yone comes flying in also. As Frank looking to get an advantage early in this lane. Scary for you to pawn, but he's okay. Not recognizing how far away Harp is, probably. And it's just going to be these lanes fighting each other for shove the entire time. Neither of these ADCs loves to be shoved in. So, going to be Frank initially.
Yeah, Miss Fortune has a much easier time farming at her tower.
Yeah, definitely.
But
nice hook from Harp.
Ultimately, as you said, you want to be pushing so you can look for those double ups and just have extra pressure, sort of zone control almost coming through just from the MFQ.
Yeah, and under tower, she honestly can play like a Draven, fishing for one auto at a time and feeling pretty good every time you get an auto. On the enemy ADC under tower while he's focused on last hitting.
Yeah, the Strut passive is bonkers.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about it, right? You know how Strut like cleanses, slows, and gives you the immediate... Maybe it doesn't cleanse slows, but it gives you the immediate max movement speed.
Yeah.
It's kind of just like the Teemo thing, but it also gives you a bunch of extra damage as well.
Yeah, it just gives you heaps of attack speed too.
Yeah, just for fun, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, Teemo, due for a rework, I think. That guy's been around for too long in his current form. They gave him the bouncing mushrooms.
Yeah, yeah. I also don't think you used to get stacks on the mushrooms. I think they just had like a...
Yeah, just a cooldown.
Yeah,
just chuck one mushroom at a time. Get the job done. Scout's code and all that. Arya continuing to do pretty well in this matchup.
Yeah, definitely I think probably the mid laner that's been performing the best in this Yone v AD carry matchups is Gemini down the bot side, finds his way into Harp, and Harp is getting very low. He doesn't have sums available to himself. Wako bouncing grenade is going to secure that kill, and you see Steel there just still hitting away at his Krugs, not interested at all and trying to even think of the idea of helping, really.
Yeah, Gemini does use his flash, but you're really happy to pick up that kill, especially on the Jhin. Pretty squishy comp from the side of DFM, so if this Jhin gets ahead, he can be terrifying. It's Harp actually... Yeah, Harp actually engages this. Goes for a pretty fancy play, and had Gemini not been here first, they probably do win this 2v2, but Maokai is so far away, you kind of wish you waited a little bit there if you're Harp. Misstep from him.
Oh my lord, close.
Yeah,
it was a nice flash from Harp, actually dodging out of not only the crash down, but also the deadly flourish. But yeah, Gemini just there.
Yeah, they win the 2v2. But yeah, Lilia clears much faster than Maokai.
And Brand, as we saw last game.
Yeah, and making use of it both times is Gemini.
Damn, look how easy this top lane looks. Already, FAK down a pot, down in health. And we just have 2 potions, 2 cookies for Jung. He's up CS. He's got push in the lane.
Yeah, 60 stacks. Just about for this Nasus as well. Arya suffering now with a Rel in his lane.
Should be fine. Jimmyan probably just going to push one last wave in and then look for that recall.
Yeah, is still CSing pretty well for himself, all things considered. Did have to use his potion once Kaiwing showed up. Nice dodge.
Yeah, he's done that a couple times, actually. Not necessarily the easiest thing in the world to do, dodge out of the piercing light damage, but Arya seeming to be able to do it on a very regular basis.
Yeah, Ray Farkey forced to just last hit with his Q here. This is going to be a massive Nasus. And not the easiest target to get through for a comp like DFM's, but it's all about the wombo combo. If you land your spells on multiple targets with this DFM comp, you will just win the fight, big Nasus or not.
I like what Frank have been doing in this series. They've just been allowing Jung to have counter, except for, you know, obviously the game he picked Ribbon. But after that, just let him have counter. And he's making use of it better than we see most people able to do.
Yeah. Yeah, been just a massive top gap this whole series so far. We'll see what Ray Farkey gets done on the cannon. We're not expecting him to win the lane into Nasus. We know how this matchup goes. Yutapon has to flash.
Yeah, gonna flash. He does cleanse as well, but here comes the slow. Do they have the damage to take him out? It certainly looks like they will. No, the burn. The Faded Ashes as well as that Lilia passive. Just enough to get that kill across the line.
Yeah, Yutapon flashes, but in a straight line.
Just goes and takes a Void Grub in the face of this Maokai. Now he's getting ulted and he is living. Ray Farkey's actually the one in trouble. Jung, one more Q. Siphoning strike and Jung's just 2v1ing the top side. There's nowhere for Steel to go. Will it come out? Yes, there it is. And Steel is just dawdling away. Jung walks into the Void Grubs. He steals one. He double kills them. Meanwhile, the bot side is just being domed.
Yeah, Ray Farkey gets some help from his jungler and they both end up going down. Nasus just had boots. I have no idea how he's just killed both of them there. Has a massive HP advantage. Runs down to just take some Void Grubs. Does Ray Farkey TP here or what?
Okay, so he's just sitting here.
Just hitting Steel. What is happening?
You gotta wonder if Arya maybe should have just come up.
Yeah, and this is so ridiculous from Jung. This is such a greedy play from him. But meanwhile, Arya is TP'd into mid lane and been chunked out, so he's never coming to this play. Ray Farkey gets a little too close for comfort, I think. Tanks too many of these Nasus Qs. Thinks he can get away with his flash, but Jung has his ghost to follow up. Steel never living here. The Nasus he just finishes him off. Little S even from Jung here.
Possibly the most broken passive in the game. Nasus passive. Nasus has 16% lifesteal.
Yeah, looking pretty broken is the Nasus in this game, and I said it was going to be a pretty big Nasus. It's going to be a massive Nasus in this game.
Oh, I cannot believe what I just witnessed.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
It is 2024. Everyone's complaining about 2024 champions.
Yeah, you got your Auroras, your Cassantes. No, that is not the most broken champ in the game. It's the dog. And I think Jung in the position now to drop bones on him. Yeah, and no help is coming Ray Farkey's way unless Arya gets a massive injection of gold. No one can deal with this Nasus. Yep, absolutely not. Certainly not Steel and Ray Farkey. And they're just winning across the map too. You know, generally, okay, Nasus is big, but they've probably paid for it on the bottom side. Absolutely not. They're actually diving the bottom side as that happened. Picked up a kill onto Yutapon. Looked for another dive onto Harp. That one did not eventuate, but I mean, just look at all the priority across the map. They have complete topside prio. It's one Void Grub to one Void Grub, and Frank, they're going to pick up this Dragon as well. Steel, he has access to ult. He's actually going to come in, try and contest it with a flash hook. Will miss. Gemini now making his way out of their Nature's Grasp, but now he's stuck in the pit. The turnaround on the top side, though, is Steel going aggressive. The culling will come out and secure that kill, and Gemini finds a lot of damage on these three. It's going to be a 1-for-1 as things stand. Both junglers going down. Kaiwing, though, still full HP in the curtain call there. Harp, he gets cancelled. There's Hooker being cancelled, and now trying to turn around onto Kaiwing, but there's no way that this EMF has the damage just yet. As through comes that Deadly Flourish, through comes the crash down, and through comes the 7th kill of the game for Frank Esports as they look to move forward into their next series. Yeah, in that fight, DFM pick up their first and only kill of the game. As this is a 4-0 Jin only with Ninja Tabis. Does he pick up a bunch of kills in that fight, Wako? And it looks okay. Harp completely whiffs the flash engage, and it actually looked okay when Steel W's out of Kaiwing's engage there. They're able to trade pretty evenly, but I think Arya maybe just leaves too early, going the wrong direction here. And Harp way out of position, not recognizing the danger he's in. It should be running away immediately. Probably alongside his mid laner too. Nice two-man stun from Kaiwing. Yeah, I think Yutapon there going to try and
block that fourth shot, but ends up just leading to him going down. He might have anyway. Exhaust still available at the end of that for Kaiwing as signs of emotion from Frank. Usually, you know, even when they won that game 5 against CFO, wasn't even as much as a smile on their face.
Yeah, I think they were just out of emotions.
Waco's gone way too aggressive. And here's some play for DFM as the shutdown comes through, but it goes on to Steel. Now the Nature's Grass coming out. They're looking for more. Kaiwing should be able to block this one up, though. Crashdown comes through. That's the shield. And Gemini able to just walk on out.
Yeah, that was such a massive shutdown. You really wish it went on to Udapon. Slight misplay from the side of DFM there, but honestly a much bigger misplay from Waco to be caught in that position. He had a support and jungle near him too, but Steel a little faster to the play. Ray Farkey might be about to get dived. It's at the point where this Kennon's going to have to start ulting waves so he doesn't lose his tower.
Well, Zhang's going to go claim himself that last Void Grub by the looks of things. Does he get a stack from queuing that thing? I can't remember how it works.
But you have to kill it. If he kills it, yeah, you get like 12 or something. You get like a lot of stats for these big creeps.
I know you get stacks for queuing champions. That was a change they made to him years ago.
He almost has 300 stacks at 11 minutes, by the way.
Yeah, I remember a time when people were happy to have 300 at 20 minutes. That is nothing of a concern here.
Yeah, well, Kennen can't even walk up to the wave.
Yeah. And I can tell you for sure that Steel's not coming up here to try gank this guy.
Yeah, never ever. Not with a locket.
When was the last time Jung backed, by the way? He's just feeling fine, sitting on the sheen.
Yeah, can sit here forever. Will never have to use his TP for his own lane this game. Constantly has shove, constantly has pressure on his opponent. Udapon playing nice and far back to back up Harp. You can't go for this dive if it's not on Udapon.
Oh!
Has cleanse, has cleanse.
Okay, yeah. Steel also coming out this way.
Yep, ends up just being a plate enabled by Gemini there.
All right, Jung's items. He's back. He's teleporting in an entire Triforce. Okay.
Yeah. Probably didn't have to TP back to his lane there, but decides to just keep the pressure on. Would love to not have to TP to help his team.
Yeah, and ultimately, the onus really is on Frank to not teamfight. The only way they ever lose here is just a massive AoE teamfight coming out of DFM, so keeping that pressure in the top side. If Kennen ever teleports to a play, 2 towers minimum are going down.
He's healing 140 per Q on these minions. So he could just ignore the Kennen in these fights if he wants to. Double Leandries is going to come out for the side of DFM. That's going to help them alongside of the Blade of the Ruined King for this Yone.
Yeah, and speaking of, Arya is very strong. He's 1-0 here. He's equal with the most CS. Actually, 3 people all were on 134, but Ray Farkey's dead.
Should ult the wave here.
Yeah, we'll do that, but actually, no, he won't.
Yeah, just doesn't even get a chance to move there. Kaiwing gets onto him. Just a clean dive.
Hey guys, let's stop taking my Nasus and stacks.
Yeah, Jung not happy to have his team here stealing the turret that was honestly rightfully his.
I think this is smart though. Obviously, yes, the Nasus is very strong, but he's going to want to be in the side lane, so give some gold across to the rest of the team, allow them to have some strength while they're honestly probably going to be 4v5 at times. I don't see a single reason for Yi Jung to leave his lane. He can just sit in, you know, bot top and open D gates.
Yeah, and how often do we see Jung in these dominant positions where he's against double AP on the top side, builds his Merc Treads, and then just starts building armor? Because he's destroying his lane so hard, he can just build the opposite resist.
I didn't see the exact number, but I saw that there were 0 plates picked up by the side of DFM, and some absurd amount picked up for Frank. Obviously, an entire tower is at least 5.
Yeah, and then they picked up 2 or 3 bot, maybe 1 in the mid lane too. Early game, going the side of Frank,
5K
understatement.
Gold. 5k gold at 14 minutes.
Yeah.
And DFM, they're going to try and fight around this dragon. Again, as I said, if there's a way for them back in, it has to be off the back of a 5v5. They have the chance to do it. I'm not sure what the item spikes are looking like at the moment, but Udapon at least does have Bloodthirster available, and there is a locket for Steel as well. Now, Jung is actually here. He's very strong. Then Jung's found his way onto Arya. Arya's not going to be able to be part of this fight, and here's the most gold on the opposing side, on DFM. Here goes the Dragon. The Dragon is picked up there by Frank. Down will go one, down will go two. It's a nice route coming through from Steel to try and stop any more forward progress from Jimmian, and the flash ray maybe gets him out, but Jimmian's able to follow through, and Gemini makes his way onto Udapon, gets the shutdown. Ray FAK and Arya not able to do anything. Actually, Jung gets taken out.
They took him down with both their ults on the bottom side of that fight. It was actually Jung who was caught out, but they commit 2 members and it takes so long to take him down. The rest of Frank just run through the team fight, and I respect DFM going for that fight. I think it was correct to take that fight because you have to use this Kennen. You cannot just keep him in a side lane against this Nasus. Jung dodges a couple of these Yone Qs, helps delay this death for him, but he does enough damage to Arya that, you know, and gets the Kennen ulti too, that the fight's just over on the other side. Udapon, I don't even remember him pushing his ulti in this fight, but did use it at some point. Loses his cleanse and flash.
I think it has to be said that Jung probably 2v1s if he presses ult immediately at the start of the fight, but thinking that he was just going to chunk Arya and then go help out the team meant that he didn't and got taken out. But for anyone that doesn't know, because I'm sure there's not many Nasus players watching this, he gets half the cooldown off his Q when he's in that ultimate. When he uses that ultimate on Nasus, it lowers the cooldown of it by half. So you just get to do a lot more damage, you get a lot more healing.
Yeah, I also did not know that.
Oh, there you go.
So do not feel ashamed. That is an old champion, but one I have never been interested in playing or really seen all that much.
Yeah.
So kind of has been picked globally a bit into the Kennen.
Yeah, Jung the only one doing it so far here in the PCS. And
yeah, and Jung getting much better results than the Nasus has been internationally. So I don't think it's actually picked up a win.
Isn't it just only played in the LCK mainly?
Yeah.
And
it's one guy in the LCK picking it, really.
Yeah, and for anyone that isn't aware, everyone pretty much in the PCS plays on the Korean solo queue ladder, so I'm sure he's also got a lot of experience in this matchup.
Now there's a tower taken. Jung actually grouped with his team on the Nasus here. Ray FAK, the only one down here.
Teleport coming through, but Gemini, he's got a forklift license. He is going to crash.
Ray FAK has flash.
Straight there into, but he is slowed. Gets hit by that Swill Seed, and Jimmy in the meantime just heading away at this tower in the mid lane.
Yeah, I don't know what scared him off that tower, because MF does get there now, and this is the problem with DFM's comp. We've talked about how crazy the combo is. If there's a Nasus this massive, if there's a big Lucian, you can't actually group all your members. You have to pull the trigger here if you're DFM, and here it is.
Arya goes backwards. Teleport coming in for Ray FAK. Keep an eye on this Kennen. This could be massive. He's going to find his way onto 2 with the flash away from Wako, and Wako's completely fine. Through the team fight, do they run into 1-for-1? Nice deadly flourish going through from Wako as a Kunin call coming out. Jung, he's so menacing. Asleep goes Harp. Here comes the bullet time, and it just means he's going to get hit. And Jung makes it out on 1 HP. Gemini now searching for Arya. The Swirl Seed does go wide, but the deadly flourish will not. Arya, will he survive? No, he will not. Wako comes and drops a nuclear missile on his head.
Yeah.
The damage from Wako in that fight is so immense.
Yeah, he plays it perfectly too. Uses his flash the moment he sees the Kennen engage. Kennen can't really chase him. Prefers to go for these other targets. Has to hit as many people as he can. The Maokai ulti just a bit off from Harp here. Means that Kaiwing's able to block it. Sure, Gemini is split, but maybe that's where he wants to play the fight anyway. And Wako is just free hitting this entire fight, positioned perfectly. Gets an ulti off here to chase as well. But Jung is just looking unkillable in the front line. The ulti not getting it done for Udapon.
Wako is hitting like an absolute truck.
Yeah, and his skill shots were very accurate in that fight too. It's actually Jung.
Yeah,
who does almost 5k.
Jimmy kind of just got one shot. Kaiwing. I also like what Kaiwing did, by the way. Turned around in the middle of that fight and tried to disrupt this Kennen from going forward, and meant that Wako honestly took no damage. He got that flash immediately out. I think Ray FAK flashing when he probably shouldn't have.
Yeah, had the flank, right? So should just run at them and push ulti there, I think.
But DFM, I mean, signs of life there. Obviously, they're too far behind to win that fight, but you saw just how close it can be. Wako now doesn't have flash. If you find something like that again, it should just be a fine fight for you. But, I mean, who's dealing with this Nasus right now? I'm not entirely sure. It kind of has to be Arya. But the Wither, if he just uses it on Yone, it's so hard.
Yeah, MF unaffected by Wither, so you expect Jung to use it on the Yone over anyone else. Because MF can ulti. Steal caught here.
Yeah, is going to have to flash away. That's an important lockdown tool. As this Dragon now spawning, Swellseed does go wide.
Now Dragon is up. And you do have your ultis on the side of DFM, but without Cannon Flash, without Cannon Teleport, how is Ray Farkey going to have impact on this fight? Jung looking for his own flank.
Yeah, Jung, he's coming through. He does have Ghost available, and of course, he has that ultimate. Nice engage coming through by Harp, and absolutely locked down and taken out as Jimmy. And once again, Arya makes it out on 1 HP, does go to sleep though, as Gemini continues to go forward. He's going to find one. Waco's trying to kite. Arya's behind him though. Does he know? He does not. Down he will go. It's at the moment a 2 for 2. But importantly, Jung's still alive. Gemini's still alive. They take 2 more, and Arya, the last one remaining for DFM. The bastion of hope is this Yone. But it's looking real rough.
Yeah, Arya's done well to survive in all these fights and hold on to his flash. But Frank pick up the team fight easily. Wako honestly hooked by Harp there. Pretty incredible find for him. But the Cannon ult not having enough impact. Same deal with the MF ulti. These ultis just not connecting for the side of DFM the way they need to if they're going to win this fight. Ray Farkey went for a flank, which ended up not needing to because of this nice hook and ulti. It's a lot committed. It's a lot committed to kill Jimmy, and then you can't use all these teamfight ults from this far behind onto one member. Jung is just, it's already, the fight's over at this point. I think you're out of steam, and there's a full HP Nasus running around with probably 400 stats. They even give him the stacks on Dragon.
This is ridiculous. I want the Spirit Vision to go away. 500?
600 almost.
73.
Oh God.
Oh, that's going to go up. Yep.
Yeah. Again.
85, 585.
Go on, one more, yeah.
Oh, this is,
maybe treat yourself to another, yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I think Jiang might be too out of hand. I think Arya's Arya's trying his damnedest in this game. Even there, so much came down onto him. He was the focus from Jiang at the start. Having to use that Fate Seal defensively, though, just meant that there is literally no more threat onto this Nasus.
Yeah, no LDR coming out from Udapon yet means he's so far away from being a threat.
It is never an LDR game with how much this Nasus is healing. Hook lands onto Jiang. He's going to be able to get that ult out, the Descendant of the Sand. So much is coming out, and he is getting taken down. Is he actually, though? His life stealing up. He's still alive. He goes down. It's a slicing Maelstrom that confirms that Jimmy has found himself on the flank, and the curtain call is out. The 4-shot lands on a Harp, but he's able to get away. But Jimmy goes aggressive. Here he comes. There's a snare. He does have to flash away from the tower, and Gemini going forward. He goes golden. Oh, the deadly flourish from Waku lands. An absolute sniper. The Taiwanese sniper is Wako, and Gemini's marching forward. He gets shut down though. Arya still with play in this game. It's 3v1 at the moment, and again it's Arya, that final bastion for the second seed of LJL. He's still alive. There's low health bars. He has healed up without ult. What can he truly do? It's Frank Esports looking to put the nail in the coffin here for game number 3.
They're not going to be able to end on this job. Arya doing a really good job of staying alive in all these fights. Eventually does lose his flash there. He's going to pick up some farm in the bot lane too. He has a lot of gold on this Yone. He's pretty strong, but not nearly as strong as this Nasus. And we called this a wombo combo team from the side of DFM, but they're just having to use all their ults to kill one member of Frank in every fight.
Yeah, and it's like what you said before we got into game, right? You can be pretty happy if you're behind with a comp like this, but not when you're 13k behind. That is too behind to be really, truly able to find something massive. Without Frank really griefing, I think it has to be said. Like, they have to be grouped perfectly for you to find it, and they just never need to be now. Jung can just bide his time, wait for some ults to come in, run through the team fight, or he can be aggressive. Everything gets used on him, and his team is still just very strong. Kaiwing now, actually going backwards. A rare display of control out of Kaiwing in a situation like that.
Yeah, looking to close this game out cleanly are Frank. Flash is back up for this Kennen. While Kennen has Flash, there's always a chance, but Flash and cleanse up for Wako.
You really wish you had teleport. Look at that pink ward.
Yeah. Yeah, they've done a good job of finding these flank wards. Harp.
He's going to get stunned up. A lot of damage down onto him, but he is going to be able to get out with the help of that blast cone.
Yeah, only level 13 on this Kennen, so no hope for that rank 3 ultimate.
You have to be so careful here as DFM because Jiang, if he gets time on this tower, will just completely one-shot it.
You have to pull the trigger sooner rather than later.
Minions now, massive minion wave actually crashing onto their Nexus towers as Jiang trying to get into that tower, but luckily no synced waves. There's no Baron buff either, so it is fairly easy for DFM to continue to head away these minions and protect these last standing inhibitors.
Yeah, for now they're okay on DFM, but they do have to pull the trigger. And it's probably going to have to be Harp. He is their most reliable form of engage. He needs to find a hook. Honestly, I don't think the ult will do it. But it's Kaiwing just constantly face-checking. He can't hook the rel. She could even buffer it and escape.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so hard, right? You're down so much gold. I'd love to have a look at the items just to see how detrimental it truly is, but some recalls coming through. Harp going to top up on those wards. He needs them desperately to try and have any idea where the side of Frank Esports are, because if they don't know, they can just be dove. But Frank, they're going to go back off. They're going to take this dragon. It is the soul for them. And then 1.5 minutes until Baron, and at that point, I think they can really look for the end. I don't think there's any reason to do it earlier. You're just risking giving over a team fight.
Yeah, and I like the itemization from Jimian. Just needs to survive in this fight. The enemy team has to commit so many cooldowns to kill his teammates. If they do that, he will be able to take over the fight. Needs to just make sure if he's targeted, he can get out of these flash Maokai roots and cannon ultis, so he picks the QSS up for himself.
Now Marco too has that rapid fire cannon, providing extra safety. He actually went the IE second, which we didn't touch on.
Yeah, I like this build out of the Jhin. Marco playing very well this game.
Gemini not rewarding him. That's my camp. Get out of here. Baron, 45 seconds. It should just be that picked up, and I'm not sure what DFM can really do about it. I think you have to commit to a 5v5 fight. That's all your team comp really does. You're never winning a side lane against this Nasus.
Yeah, on the bright side, the Infernal Soul is not that bad to play against. Because they're already just doing so much damage on the side of Frank.
Yeah, that's actually true.
You were already getting one shot, especially for this Nasus. He has almost 800, 750 stats.
You're so happy it's not Cloud Soul this game, by the way.
Yeah.
Just because Jiang would sprint through your team.
Yeah, Cloud Soul. Pretty much every other Soul probably feels better. I mean, Ocean Soul's pretty useless for him. So that is a bright spot, but that is a very, very dim bright spot for the side of DFM as Frank start up the Baron now, going down quickly.
Harp, Steel, they're all here. These are the engaged tools. Arya following up too. He's the damage. Jiang's here though, and Deadly Forest lands, the teleport coming in, and Jiang's just getting into the thick of it. The flash and the sleep from Gemini only lands onto the 2 tanks, but they have so much damage. FAK not even getting his ult off. Look at Jiang. Jiang is just sprinting at everyone. It's going to be a very dead Steel. There he goes. He drops a bone on him, and Unipon's going to go down as well. Only Arya once again is left remaining, but look how fast Gemini is, and we didn't even use the curtain call. It's still up. How do we still have Jhin when the team fight looks like this? It's a 5-0, and it's Frank Esports with 22 games into the playoffs. Gonna find another series in them.
Yeah, Kaiwing here a little before his team, but as these guys come in, pick up the Sinhib and close out the game, it should just be over. FAK does have his ultimate, and there's no Baron, so maybe he can get on this wave on the cannon. It's going down so fast, though.
Yeah, Harp able to be one shot as Kaiwing still had flash after the last fight. FAK's going to spawn, but he's not going to hinder his KDA by getting in there and getting one shot yet again. It is Frank Esports off the cleanest series we've seen from them so far, going again ahead in the playoffs to face the winner of tomorrow's series.
Yeah, and they continue to level up every time we see them. Frank are looking very impressive, and I mean, if you have hope for them to bounce back against the likes of PSG, you needed to see that kind of series out of them. You had to be that dominant against what's looked like a strong team in DFM, faltering to DCG, but man, 3-0.
Yeah, heartbreak.
Yeah, rough series for him.
Yeah. It is not an easy task going up against Jiang, and honestly, if you had these two teams pitted against each other at the start of playoffs, it is a clean 3-0 for DFM. It is a clean 3-0 in their favor. But this time, it is just honestly off the back of so much practice. It has to be said. Frank have played so many series, only just kept their playoffs chances alive, and they have truly just continued to get better and better and better. And it's so sad to see. I mean, you put your heart into these games. Ray Farkey, heartbroken there. You can see on your screens. But Jimmy-in, he's dropping us another dance. Very happy other side of Frank.
Yeah, and honestly, to be fair on Ray Farkey, how many times has he played Poppy into Riven? How many times has he played Kennen into Nasus?
Yeah.
He probably has no experience, next to no experience in these matchups, while Jiang has played both these matchups, you know, a couple of times, at least for the Nasus, and about 1 million times for the Riven matchup. So,
yeah,
you shouldn't be too hard on himself.
You'd probably argue that, especially in the case of the Riven,